everyone. Welcome again to Up Front with Frank Rothstein. You just heard my lead-in song. That was, of course, Cameron Eve leading the band The Choke. They graciously and happily allowed me to use this song almost 6 years ago, and it's been playing me in ever since, and I've always enjoyed using it. Somehow it seems to fit. I like it. It's hot out. It's hot out there. I am not a summer guy. Do I look like a summer guy? I am not a summer guy. Yeah, I'm missing my leather jacket. I'm missing cold weather, the briskness of it all. Now you go to give someone a hug, they push you away because you feel disgusting. Not because they don't want the hug, because you just feel disgusting. Yeah, it's just nasty out there. Once again, humid as hell. Of course, the sky darkened in New York City. It rained for about 90 seconds or so, and humidity, Me, I just want an iced coffee. I can live. As a matter of fact, I'm spending a fortune in New York on iced coffee because wherever you go after tax, it's always $5 a cup. I want an iced coffee, but not this. You see this? See what's going on behind me? Once again, they've mutilated the Oreo. It's going into a can. It's ruining my day. I'm telling you, a drink like this, well, it looks good in the glass. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be Oreo. And me, I'm an Oreo purist, as everyone knows. I'm an Oreo purist. All I want to do is dunk it in milk. I always said I don't want any flavors. I don't want it packaged. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want to see people use a fork in it to eat it evenly and neatly. I don't, and I really don't want it in the can. I'm telling you, this really. How is everybody this week? You having problems like I do, as you can see? Are you having problems? The world is having problems, but everybody has that little something which just ticks them off to no end. Mine is what you're seeing going on behind. On to more serious stuff in the world, stuff that actually counts. Actually, the big story this week, has everyone been keeping up with the ticket prices? Because Bruce Springsteen's going on tour again. He's on tour. Unbelievable. I don't know if anyone, well, actually, before I go into this, of course, let me tell everybody sitting with me on the computer from her secret lair high atop that sacred mountain, Jade Heights. Everyone, please say hello to Jade Zabrick. She's appearing all over New Jersey, one place after another. She's going to type in her signature howdy in a couple of seconds and maybe even type in where her next venue will be, or her next gig. Yeah, no one, if you're a musician, no one goes to work. They go to gigs. I had an uncle named Gig. That was his nickname, Gig. Yeah, true. I think he played an instrument. I'm not sure. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, Jade's been busy out in Jersey, conquering the towns, one town after. Look at that. She's even posting it. There you go. She's going to Gus's Last Word in Woodbridge, New Jersey. That's over in Bergen County. That's on this coming Friday, the 29th, 7:30 to 10:30. Damn, she has long concerts. She's not putting in an hour and getting the hell out of there. She's putting in some shows. She's putting in time. This girl's looking for her union card. That's it. She's going to become the go-to girl. And then if there's a problem, she stays late. Yeah. Cool. I think that's great. What else is going on in the world? So I was talking about the tickets. Yeah, we all know what's been going on with Bruce Springsteen because, well, he's actually the hottest show going on whenever he goes on the road. Of course, Ticketmaster letting the resale agents go and take the tickets first, plus all of their fees, their insane fees and processing fees and taxes and fee taxation on fees, that if you had really what they call their platinum seats, you were paying upwards $5,000 a ticket. Not in every last venue in every last state in the country, but $5,000 a ticket. Well, politicians got involved in New Jersey. The fans, of course. I was reading some of the comments. One guy says, "Yeah, I'm really rich and I'm not paying that." I don't blame. I don't blame anyone. I wouldn't do that. I love going to see Ringo Starr, but I wasn't going to pay $400 to go do it. I've seen the show enough times. I have sang Yellow Submarine enough times. I'm not paying 400 to go see Ringo and his band. I love Ringo. I'm not doing it. I met Bruce Springsteen a few times in an informal setting. One of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. I'm not paying 5,000 to go see him. Although I've heard now that the prices have been relaxed and those same tickets, how full of shit are the ticket agents? The same $5,000 tickets were now $2,700 tickets. Wait till it's close to showtime. You'll probably get them at a more normal rate. Yeah, I was listening to an interview on YouTube. Some guy and his son, whatever state they're in, they're going to go see his show. They thought they did good for they call it the nosebleed section, that top section, the bleachers all the way up in the stadium. He paid almost $500 a ticket after fees and taxes. And now he's glad he only paid $500 because after that, it went up to like $1,200. Yeah, what's going on? I'm not quite sure what's going on with prices of everything and tickets. No, you can't blame it on the supply chain. That don't work. This is just outright greed. Capitalism, great, knock yourself out. But greed, oh no. People should be able to afford. You shouldn't put it this way. It should not cost you, depending on what people make, $5,000 for a ticket. Depending on what people take home, depending on what their job is. Wow, that for certain jobs, for some people, that could be a month, sometimes 2 months' pay just to buy one ticket. I don't know how people do that. Meantime, I'm looking at I gotta change this picture because I'm seeing all the blur go on my screen. So I'm gonna change that. Give me 1 second. While I do that, choose a virtual background. So this other annoying photo, this is the new trendy drink. Yeah, we're having a problem today with text, so that's just going to be blurring every now and then. That is a Velveeta martini. You know that Velveeta that you love so much that you dip your nachos chips in and wherever else Velveeta goes. I love Velveeta. Pure crap, but I love it. I don't even know if it's really cheese, but okay. It certainly doesn't belong in a glass. What is that, olives? Yeah, it's olives over it. Something else. I hope that's garlic. Either way, I like the garnish better than the drink, although I may taste it. All right, now that we're here, now that I've ranted on a lot of crap, let's get to some serious stuff. I'm looking at today's news, and of course, there is the headline says, this came out of, I got it from the Post, New York Post, but it came from Associated Press. Nazi protesters show up outside a young conservatives meeting in Florida, in Tampa. A Holocaust center in Florida and others condemned the presence of protesters holding Nazi flags and posters with anti-Semitic imagery outside of a convention of young conservative activists that drew speakers such as former President Donald Trump, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and several other Republican senators. All right. When they say other imagery, you're seeing the old Nazi SS for the SS of the Nazi, the stormtroopers. They would come. People that would raid every building. The SS. Yeah. So that's what's in Florida. It's not that I'm such a big conservative or I love Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis or anyone else for that matter. But certainly, just look at my name on the headline of this show. I'm not liking this. And everybody should not like this. The support that people cry for whenever something goes wrong is not limited to only the circle you want to be in. This that what should not be liked for one should not be liked for any. This is ridiculous. Uh, and a lot, you can be anti-Semitic. You don't have to like people who are Jewish. Go ahead. Dislike whoever you want. I don't need anyone to love me. That's fine. But this Nazi flags, posters, yeah, the SS lightning bolts, don't need it. This is wrong. This is always wrong. This is a very old subject. It is older than any other subject of hate or bigotry you're going to find. This goes past the Hebrew calendar, the Jewish calendar, which is close to 5,800 years old. This is nothing new. The only thing that changes is the date. And remember that whether you're talking about people, whether you're talking about Jews, you're talking about people who are Black, Asian, Spanish, fat, or anything else in the world, the only thing that changes is the date. So when someone says, how could that still be happening today? Because it does. It hasn't stopped. Maybe the act got cleaned up a little bit. Yeah, maybe people cleaned up their act somewhat. You know, maybe maybe you got people who are a little sharper with what they're doing and they know when to keep their mouths shut, or they're smart enough not to carry a Nazi flag with a swastika on it. But this is what goes on. This is nothing new. Yeah, this is nothing new. Yeah, this next story around today. This is another genius act. 3 arrested in Boston after white supremacists protest drag queen story hour. Can you believe this? 3 people were arrested in Boston after a group of masked white supremacists clashed with counter-protesters at a drag queen storytime event for kids on Saturday. One of the 3 arrested for distributing the piece was reportedly the leader of a Nationalist Social Club, or NSC, 131, which is categorized as a New England-based neo-Nazi group by the Anti-Defamation League. It's nothing new. There's nothing new about it. You know, it's just the way it is. There's nothing new about it. The only thing that changes is the date. And the third story on the same dumb subject, this is from yesterday, is a man is charged for vandalizing a bakery advertising let me read that again. A man charged for vandalizing bakery advertising child-friendly drag show. This is in Illinois. He's a man charged with a hate crime for allegedly vandalizing a bakery about an hour outside of Chicago. Yeah, outside of Chicago, and a drag show planned for damaged businesses has been canceled. You know, again, nothing changes. Nothing changes. And I doubt he woke up in the morning and said, you know what, I feel like just tearing apart a bakery. And this is someone who was attached to someone, I'm sure. They're not mentioning where, but it's what it is. Now I'm looking at a picture of the bakery. It looks like a fairly big place. It doesn't look like it's it's just looks like in some industrial area. That's what it looks like. Maybe in a shopping center. Big place, big sign. Uprising Bakery and Cafe. I'm guessing they have good product. I wouldn't mind having coffee there myself and having a piece of cake. But this is just what goes on. This is nothing new. So, everyone, no one should feel singled out. There's plenty of it to go around for everyone. There's plenty of it. Everyone gets to share in it one way or another. I haven't heard about neo-Nazis and seen a swastika flag in a while. Yeah, it's been a while, but they are out there. Trust me, they are out there. I was passing by a restaurant local to me. I saw the owner today. I asked about that. And I won't say where. And there's a waiter who has numbers on his arm. I don't know if I mentioned this last week. In decent text size. It's not like a little scribble. So when I saw the owner today, I punched up a picture on Google. I just Googled Holocaust numbers on the arm, general inquiry, and I saw all these numbers. Now there is one picture where the younger guy is sitting with his grandfather, and the tattoo that it was on the grandfather's arm, a survivor of a concentration camp. You could see the ink was fading. Doesn't go away, but it's very old. It was fading. The grandson, as paying tribute to his grandfather for surviving, he, in the same text, put the numbers on his own. There was a reason for doing it. So I'm not condemning why the waiter at this restaurant did it. But I showed the owner of the restaurant just a standard old person's arm. I said to him, all I said was, do you know what this is? He goes, yes. I said, then why would you have someone working for you with numbers on their arm? Certainly if I put a swastika on my arm or a Southern flag, a flag, a Confederate flag on my arm, you wouldn't let me work for you. You wouldn't let anyone work because of course not. Then how could you not even question why there's numbers on the arm? Now, if this is the case, I understand, but don't you think you should know why? I mean, it could be someone's telephone number. It's not. It doesn't look like a phone number. It could be a lot of things. But a number on the arm, there are certain things that should not be taken lightly, and at least should be done with knowledge. If you're going to put a tattoo on your arm of numbers, it should be at least, you should know where the history of it came from. Now, maybe it's because I reacted to it because I come from an old Jewish neighborhood. I come from the Brighton Beach area of Brooklyn. And I saw many people who were older who had numbers on their arm. And I understood why at a young age, why it was there. But this is a guy who's much younger than me. Could be he looks to be like early 30s, very late 20s, early 30s. And you think that he should know. But me, again. So there are certain things that should be at least questioned. That's how I feel about it. Back to what I was talking about. There's no shortage of it. Everybody gets an equal slice of the hate pie. It has a very bitter taste. Anyone who's ever had a bite of it, it's a very, you all know what it tastes like. It's never tastes good. And certainly you never want to try it again. But somehow everyone keeps getting a serving of it every now and again. And that's what's happening now. Once again, it was nice weather. It's the way it is. The weather was nice. There was a meeting going on. Let's bring out the swastika. Okay, so now you know what's going on in Florida. Okay, let me clear that off my board. And leave the drag queens alone. No one's bothering anybody. Want to go around and drag, knock yourself out. What else is going on? Okay, let's get a little shift gear a little bit. Yeah, especially, I don't know what goes on in every other city. You know, in New York City, you have those Wi-Fi kiosks, those little stands in the middle of the street where you can all charge your phones up, get free Wi-Fi. That's becoming a place for the homeless, the vagrants. The city linked New York City. Well, I said the perps. That's a very vague term. But okay, vagrants and the homeless are hanging out there. I see plenty of those stations all over the city, and it's free. So yes, people are hanging around it. which would mean that not everybody wants to go near it. Well, that's what happens. Do you know that Starbucks is closing some of its locations? Whereas the headline went, that the price of going woke. So Starbucks a while back went with their public bathroom policy. Everyone is allowed to use it. Except after a while, it became more trouble than it's worth because the homeless, the addicts, camping out in there, bathing in there, shooting up in there, leading to fights sometimes. So now because of what's going on, they have to close a few locations. You see this here, a very good idea, free charging station, free Wi-Fi, attracting a bad crowd. Got to be careful when you go near them. Not the people, the stations, because you don't know what you're walking into. Be careful. And that's become the head of the Garment District Alliance, Barbara Blair, says she wants them removed. Remember, you're paying high rent to run your business. Certain businesses attract big clientele. And here you have someone either shooting up, getting into fights, sleeping on the street, which true, it happens. It's a sad thing. And the city put the station in front of their building. And from the perspective of Garment District is very busy. I could see why they want to remove. And this is, she's talking about an area on 8th Avenue between 36th and 40th Street. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Yeah, that's what's going on. Oh my, let's see. Is anyone talking on us? Let's see. Hey, Shanita, how are you? I just turned on to my streaming page. Hopefully you're there. What's going on? Yes, somebody's in my stream chatting away, saying hello. Okay, let's see what else is going on. This could be, speaking of anti-Semitism, anti-hate, anti-anyone, stupidity, hate crime, whatever else you want to attribute it to, racism. An Iowa weather station stirred up, they call it a whirlwind of backlash after an offensive racial slur, they said inexplicably, appeared in one of the forecasts last Thursday. Meteorological misprint was flagged Friday in a now viral tweet by journalist Matthew Keys. Of course, when he posted the story, it said blurred it, but pretty much said, and of course, it says, using, of course, the N-word, he says, as they're doing the weather report, this is your weather, and of course, there's that word. And well, I don't know how that inexplicably gets there. Someone's entering it in intentionally. The machine doesn't operate itself. Somebody's entering it in there intentionally. This is, someone has to be, there's a producer, if there's a tech working on it, there's a producer standing right behind them. And somehow someone thought this is the way to go. I hope everyone gets fired. I'm not sure if there's a fine involved, but if there is, feel free to find them. That's all I got to say about it. Like I said, there's a slice for everybody. Everyone gets a taste of that every now and again. Yeah, it's the way it goes. Oh, for joy. What's going on this week? Oh, yeah, the New York State bar exams come up. They did it at the Javits Center. And because there's a bar, because you have to be there, the food prices have jumped. So I just want to say a good thing that prospective lawyers are going to make a lucrative, going into a lucrative profession. It says the grub at the Javits Center for the upcoming 2-day state bar exam comes with mind-boggling prices, with kosher meals costing more than $50. The The majority of the boxed meals, which include a sandwich, pasta salad, chips, a cookie, and a bottle of water, will cost $33. The kosher turkey sandwich and kosher chicken wrap, which will set would-be attorneys back a whopping $53. With tax, that's $115.41 for both days at the exam. These are, I don't know what everyone's financial position is in life, of course not, but that's insane, leading the question of why are the kosher options $20 more than $20? Actually, $20 more, yeah, $20 more than the other meals. I'm not quite sure. It's insanely expensive, even at $33. But why are the kosher meals? It doesn't mean you have to be Jewish to. I understand that to have kosher, you have to have a different facility. But why are they $20 more than other meals? That is just sick, cruel, and sort of obvious. We're halfway through. If anybody, yeah, but would you pay that price, Janine? Would you pay that price? Think about what I'm saying. And would you like a Velveeta martini, by the way? Let's see. Where was I? If anybody would like to inquire as to what we're talking about or why we're talking about it or comment besides on my chat streams, feel free to email me at upfrontfrank@gmail.com, upfrontfrank@gmail.com, or you can always, of course, write to us at skiescrescentradio@gmail.com. And speaking of a gmail.com, Jade, as a musician, is for hire. She needs a gig. She always wants a gig. Even if you get 2 gigs a week, there's still 5 other days to talk about. Write to her, jadezabrick@gmail.com. Check her out on YouTube. Matter of fact, check out Skies Crescent Radio. Check out Jade Zabrick. And please subscribe and like both of us. All of it. Subscribe and like. They are 2 inexpensive things to do. A couple of buttons pressed later. And believe me, if you're working on your phone, it's not like you never pressed the button before. So please, go check us out. Like us. Subscribe to us. What the hell? Become one of us. Tell us what you think. Shanita, you're not hungry. You're not taking both of those. What do you think about all the topics? Here's one. When you hear me talking about artificial intelligence and the danger of leaving robots alone, I don't know if anybody saw this yesterday. It says a chess-playing robot breaks a 7-year-old's finger in Russia. It seemed that there was a 7-year-old playing chess against an automated system with a robotic arm. Matter of fact, it was playing, looks from this picture, it looks to be playing 3 different games, 3 opponents. At least that's the way the table is set up. I'm not sure how many will really play. And kid made a move. I guess he left his hand a little close to the board. The robot, with its little arm, big arm actually, reached down, grabbed the kid's finger instead of a chess piece, and broke it. It took a few people to get the kid free from that one. There you go. Careful with those robots. You never know. You never know. Okay, what else is going on over here? Okay, in New York. Well, now they're talking about a 2-year sales tax moratorium. You know, a little relief because of inflation, shrinkflation, and any other inflation you could think of. They're thinking of, this is an idea of State Senator Tom O'Mara, Republican, conservative, independent, big flats, whatever big flats is. There's a voting area for everybody. Anyway, and some of the colleagues introduced a new piece of legislation to remove sales tax on various goods, services, transactions in the state. That's nice for 2 years. That's great. You know what I would like to remove? That 4% fee that stores can charge if you use a credit card instead of cash. In many places, including restaurants, you have the option, and even in gas stations in a lot of places, of charging 4% on top if you pay by credit card as opposed to cash. So if you are paying $10 for something, you get to charge 10 for 4%. Got it? Okay. First of all, if you're electing to take a credit card, which is it's an option, you do not have to accept a credit card in your business. There are businesses, very few, that still go cash only. I know a couple of them. It's your right to accept the credit card, but don't punish your customers because there's a fee. First of all, keep this in mind. First of all, most businesses, especially a restaurant, again, they're not gas stations, they're not paying 4%. They're paying 2.5, depending on their volume, how often they what's called batching out the account where they actually collect the money from the credit card company to their account for credit. There's a lot more than going into it than that goes into it than you just using your credit card and then getting the money. There's a lot of in between. And you go into a store, you're not only paying tax, you're paying this convenience fee. And if you're going out to a restaurant, look at the check before you simply pay. A lot of times you are paying 4%. And they don't tell you about that as a fee. Well, credit card surcharge. They don't tell you that. They'll tell you save X amount of money if you pay in cash. That's the friendly way, the offer of you can save, you get something for savings. You can save money. No, they want your cash, and they're not going to pay tax on the cash because I got news for you. You don't have to. You do, but you don't, because your business only needs a certain amount of money to get by. Retail, especially, only needs a certain amount of money to get by. You have to have enough to pay your bills, enough to pay all your supplies, your rent, your insurances, so and so on. Sales tax is not yours. Don't count it. A lot of smart businesses have a second account for collected sales tax, so it never gets mixed in with the house money, and it's always accounted for. But as long as you have the money that you need every month, all the rest of it is yours. I mean, you want to make sure your payroll is done, and the idea is to possibly break even or show a little bit of loss. An old friend, someone who's no longer with us. When I took over my first store, my first business, his only advice to me, because he had been in retail long before, was always show coins. And I asked him what he meant. He said, never show even money. Nobody makes $100 even in a day. Show odd end money, show coins, show odd bills, show a little more, a little less. Never be level, never be even all the time. And he was right, vary it up. But you do not have to show every bit of cash because you don't always need to. Matter of fact, in New York State, I believe it's still, if you're buying magazines, newspapers, there is no sales tax. You're paying the cover price. And then, since there's no sales tax, a lot of stores still collect everything. They ring it up under that term, that item number, your old cash register, section 1, 2, whatever it is, however you have it done, ring it up under that. There's extra money. And they're still charging you tax. But yeah, that you want to save something. Saving the customer's sales tax is nice. But I would much rather than get rid of the 4% credit card surcharge for specific purchases. It's a crime in itself. I think it's all, yes, it is horrible. It really is. Everybody has a crazy thing they don't like to spend money on. It could be the smallest thing. Me, one of the things I bitch about most is iced coffee. Even though I love it, I pay for it. No one should be paying $5.50, $6 for an iced coffee. Shanita, a friend of mine, Shanita, is watching this on Twitch. Shanita, what is that one little thing that drives you crazy when you spend money on it? Jade, you too. if you can type into the chat stream, is there anything that drives you insane when you have to spend money on it? Outside of a basic expense, some odd little stupid anything. What is this? What is this? I'm just looking at, I'm waiting for a response, and I'm actually looking at all the stories. So let's see. Nobody has a crazy thing but me. Okay. Let's see. Speaking of music, if you're attentional musicians, Cobalt is pulling its 700,000 songs off of Facebook and Instagram. And the question here is the music biz, B-I-Z, is the music business headed for a stark bust up with Meta? Meta is the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. And whatever it was when it came to renewing the contract, they couldn't come to terms, at least not as of yet. And so far, they're pulling 700,000 songs. And I believe another company is following suit. So that's going on. Shanita, nothing that makes you crazy in spending. Me, again, ice coffee, which I'll be buying another one when I leave. Let's see. A sad business closing in New York City. The Central Park Globe Boathouse will permanently close this fall. That came out from the 21st. I got that off of Time Out's website, Time Out magazine website. This came originally from patch.com. Yeah, the boathouse with the restaurant is closing. Yeah, they laid off, wow. They're laying off 163 people by fall. Again, prices, expenses, rents, everything. Yeah. Everything. It's closing. It's pretty sad. And as you're seeing that picture behind me, yeah, Velveeta said that they're, what are they calling this thing? The Veltini. This is actually, this picture behind me is called the Veltini. It is made with Velveeta cheese sauce infused with vodka and garnished with shell pasta. Well, the pasta, so you have pretty much a mac and cheese drink. It's a $15 item. That drink behind me, a mac and cheese drink, is a $15 item, a Veltini. Remember that word. Give it a shot. You may like it. So I told you about Starbucks. Yeah, there you go. I'm telling you, the world is quite a sick place. Actually interesting. When I get rid of, I'm rubbing my head in disbelief and an itch. When I get away from all the big news in the day and all the horrible news, there are some odd things going on in the world. There really are. Like a robot that could pinch a finger's kid, a finger from a kid, and break it. A cheese that's making a martini. That's always a rare one to find. Can't have too much of that. Yeah. That's how sick it is out there. Plenty of stuff going on in the world. I just haven't covered a lot of the odd end stuff in the world. I haven't covered a lot of the odd end funny things in a while. They're not appearing as much as they used to. Because people have less of a sense of humor, I guess. Oh, here's one. Speaking of, I can't tell you if this is hate, if this is just dumbass vandalism, or pretty much just someone looking to make some money. A New York City man is accused of stealing the bronze plaques from the veterans' headstones. You know, when you see a grave, you see the veterans, they have that rectangular shaped plaque. It's made of bronze, their name, where they serve, their rank, whatever they put, whatever it is that people put on those particular plaques. I'm not sure if every branch of the government has a different design, but you get the idea. Eric T. Logue, all 42 years of him, was arrested Thursday and charged with grand larceny, cemetery desecration, drug possession, and criminal mischief. mischief, excuse me, and well, that's according to the Wellsville police. The plaques are affixed to the granite headstones of veterans stating their military branch, rank, the war they fought in, birth and day, death dates. Okay, now you got it. They cost $400 each and $150 to install. There was no motive known so far for this. Police did not offer a motive. And they're believing that the plaques were read as scrap metal to sell. That's according to people who just saw what was going on. Scrap metal, bronze. There you go. I find that to be vile. I find that to be vile. And someone posted a picture of one of the plaques that was taken. The picture they posted was of Edward G. Curtis Sr., PFC Army, U.S. Army, World War II, August 17, 1919 to August 20th, 1998. Someone felt the need to pry this off and sell it as scrap. And I'm hoping whoever they brought it to refused to buy it. This is a horrible crime. Yeah. They put out a $13,000 reward in hopes they're catching the thief. Well, I promise you, this $13,000 reward is going to rapidly become a bounty, because if there's drug use involved, I'm sure he knows other addicts, someone is going to turn this guy in. And even if you're not dealing with, even if somebody else wants to knows who it is, and they're not, and if they're perfectly, everyone's good people, will turn this guy in. This is a horrible thing to do. You don't touch a grave. It's not scrap metal. It is something that is there for a reason. If somebody was lucky enough to survive a war, live to a nice old age, and they have a plaque saying who they are and what they did, then definitely you leave it alone. Yeah. I'm tired of reading these things, to be quite honest. Next week, I got to find some dopier, funnier things, because it's just stupid. It really is. It's just stupid. On to a more, well, to a brighter note. New York City developers are eyeing casinos for Hudson Yards, Times Square, Willets Point, and Coney Island. Listen, why not? Hotel Coney Island. Hudson Yards is big in New York City. You can get to it pretty easily. Willets Point, Queens. It's like going to Citi Field to see the Mets. Number 7 train drops you right into the middle of it. Times Square is Times Square. We all know where that is. Coney Island. Well, we know where it is, but it's really sort of the ends of the earth. Yes, you are on the beach, and there is property to build. Because you can build something there, yeah. But there's somewhat limited. There's train access, but it doesn't put you right across the street, depending on where they open it up. I guess you're getting off on the Stillwell Avenue station, which would put it not too far, or you want to walk a few extra blocks to West 8th Street station. And it's Coney Island. And there's rides. I don't know how well they'll do in the wintertime, because once Labor Day comes, there's the end of all the rides. But we'll see. And one last thing before we go in terms of specific story. Rest in peace. Yes, after today was announced that actor Paul Sorvino has passed away at the age of 83. Most people know Paul Sorvino as his role of Paul Cicero in Goodfellas. He was the mob boss, where you could hear Ray Liotta, who also passed away in May, mention how slow Paulie walks. But then again, Paulie doesn't have to move fast for anyone. Paulie doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want. Paul Sorvino was a good actor. And he was also an opera singer. He was an opera singer. He had an operatic voice. He may not have been an opera singer by trade, but he had an operatic voice. Had a had a beautiful voice. And he is now gone at the age of 83. I'm sure it was from some 83-year-old thing, one thing or another. So I hope he rests well. And, what else can you say, right? Hope everyone's doing well, having a good week. Yeah, this show is coming up. Wow, we're almost done. A little while to go. Okay, so don't forget, Jade will be appearing this coming Friday, the 29th, from 7:30 to 10:30 at Gus's Last Word in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I guess that's the place where Gus gets the last word. Go see her play. It's an interesting act. She does long, not sure, well, it says 10:30. Sometimes it goes longer. You never know what's going on out there. She does do long things. She comes out, a one-woman band, comes out with a guitar or two, has all her equipment, has everything perfectly structured, wired, ready to go, and she'll give you a good show. She'll give you her all every time in all the stages. I guess that is the story. Again, not all the news. I do laugh at a lot of the stories I bring out here. Some of them are funny. Some of them are good news. But not all of them are good news, as you can hear. And I'm not making a joke when they say, like a pie, that's a piece of the pie, even people who hate it, there's a slice for everyone. Because if you're thinking that wherever you put yourself, whether it doesn't matter if you're Black or Jewish or Filipino or Middle Eastern or wherever else, I don't care if you're a white supremacist or a Nazi. Someone hates you too. If you're thinking you're any better because you hate somebody, because you have a big group, because you call yourself a supremacist, because you shave your head, you have a swastika. If you're thinking you're loved because you're doing this, think again. There's somebody who hates you too. There's a big pie out there to have. We're all eating a slice and getting a taste of it. Feel free to taste it yourself. Have a slice. Have a slice on me. Let's put it that way. I think it's a horrible thing out there. And before we go, let everyone know that Mega Millions is up to 790 million. See, I can do that commercial. This week's lottery is 790 million. It's interesting because, that old lotto phrase is dollar and a dream. Well, lotto is not even the big ticket anymore. People go to Powerball and Mega Millions, which, if you notice, it rarely hits before it gets up to at least $500 million. I am fully convinced, and I wish I had proof, I don't, that there is a program in the system that keeps track of all the numbers being played, whether it's selected numbers or quick pick, computer picks, and it knows when to not let somebody hit. Because all these lotteries keep going to these crazy amounts of money. And there's billions and billions being collected. And the state and where the states are involved in running these things, they're keeping the money and getting interest on it. If the current amount, which as of yesterday I saw it was 790 million. I don't know what it is at this moment. Nor do I know what it will be tomorrow morning. But if it's 700, just under $800 million, most people will take the cash alternative, which is about 44% before taxes. Then comes the tax. Then comes, well, if you invested, there's taxes on your interest. But let's say you simply take the check, you cash it, you pay your taxes, and now you have a closet full of whatever is left, never invested. By the time they tax you down, I can't begin to imagine how many billions are being collected by the state, because they're not putting up the full pool. It's not like only $790 million was taken into the pot. No, people are losing all the time. And I noticed it the other day that they announced the amount in the morning, and it doesn't go up, and it doesn't go up throughout the day. So people are playing. People are playing, and it is one of the biggest thieving things you could imagine. But yeah, you know, even if you hit, even if the state keeps really 90% of everything taken in, you will be obnoxiously rich. You'll be taking care of your children, your grandchildren. Everyone will be provided for. And that's the good news. If you can defy the 300 million to 1 odds, which I hope I will be doing myself. So, you know, well, I think I mentioned before in the past, I do know 2 people that have hit lottos. The first one was a former next door neighbor of mine when I was a kid. At that time, lotto was new. It was a $6 million pot. So her and her 5 friends got it. They hit. Left her husband right away. Well, I knew her husband. She left him right away with her share, less taxes. Then was somebody who I knew growing up who used to work with us, work with my family. And he always had a way of hitting any daily ticket. He could hit daily numbers like this. I don't know why. Some people just got it like that. He hit lotto for, I think it was lotto, yeah, lotto for like $10 million. He put his daughter's birthday on every game and a kicker number, which is the 3rd number. And all of a sudden, the birthday came up with one of the kicker numbers. Then he hit the rest. And yeah, curse of the lotto. Meantime, Shanita did not answer me as to what you hate spending money on, that little item that makes you crazy when you have to spend money. Yeah, he wound up collecting 10 million, took his 44%, less taxes, wound up with like, again, 2.4 million, which is excellent. But remember, it was 10, it became 2.4. Then he, you know, did whatever he did with it. And that's what happened. So, yes, that dollar in a dream is pretty good. Don't get hooked too much or become a dollar in a nightmare. But I hope everybody is. We can all share it together. So on and so on. And this show is pretty much done. Yeah, this show is pretty much done. This has been show, I think, 297. Coming up on 300. Don't know what I'll be doing for it, but I'll be thinking of something. Maybe I'll find some really obnoxiously stupid stories, but I am definitely not drinking a Veltini. If I don't like spending $6 for iced coffee, I really don't want to spend $15 for a macaroni and cheese drink. And yes, it's macaroni and cheese, not mac and cheese. Macaroni and cheese. That also annoys me, abbreviating everything, mac and cheese, like PB&J. When did a peanut butter and jelly sandwich become PB&J? Matter of fact, one day, I think it's a stupid the PB&J. Someone asked me what I was having one day for breakfast. It said a CC&J. They had no idea what I was talking about. It was really cream cheese and jelly. But a CC&J, it sounds sort of stupid, don't it? Just like when I used to go to concerts or somewhere, I would go to the merchandise counter. When did merchandise become merch? I mean, people have that short of an attention span that you can't even get a whole word out. Ugh. Merch. Well, I feel better now. Maybe I'll have maybe I'll go to the local bar and have a JD&C. You know, do the best I can with it. The JD&C. Does anybody know what a JD&C is? Shanita, I know you're watching. Before I go, can you tell me what a JD&C is? How about you, Jade? No? A Jack Daniels and Coke. Everyone's had a Jack and Coke at some point in their time. Just keep on. That's it, you know. S and MB. Let's go for dinner. We'll have S and MB. Does anyone know what I'm having tonight? S and MB. Spaghetti and meatballs. This is just how ridiculous it is. So yeah, peanut butter and jelly is peanut butter and jelly, not PB and J. Yeah. No, well, you just heard me say it. Anyway, That's the story. I can go on for hours and hours, but there's always next week to do this again. Anyway, I'm about out of here. Shanita, thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. And thanks for commenting. Jade, good luck this coming Friday. Bring all the band with you and extra batteries too. I'll see everybody next week for show 298. And who knows what I'll be talking about. Trust me, it's a big world. There is somebody doing something stupid out there, and I'll be happy to laugh at it. Okay, everyone, have a good night. I will see you next week. Bye.